Okay, Tabby. Hey, everybody that's coming in. Excuse me. Did do that. Hey, everybody. We're going to get started in a few minutes. I'm waiting on a couple more people. Lord, my niece and all that goddamn noise.
Never rush.
Hey, my two. Can you hear me, my two?
I had it muted. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. What was I fixing to say? I was trying to let some people come in because I don't want to seem like I'm talking to myself.
It's okay if you are.
So
Long
they
as they
can
come back and watch the replay.
Yeah.
But I understand.
Yeah.
Let me share. Hold on. Ooh. Trying to.
Yeah, I was talking to myself. I was muted. I didn't know you were here, Latte. I was saying something and nobody was answering. I was like, I guess those were the nosy people. But I didn't realize I was muted the whole while.
Hey, Latte, I'm about to log in right now.
Okay. Latte, I'm going to start in a few minutes, baby. Thank you for always being there.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Special K. You're supposed to be a part of this conversation today, honey.
Oh, yeah, she sure is.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go ahead and start watching the video. How do I present? Screen share. And it's this one. And it's share. And play. I'm not going to play the whole video because I'm going to stop it at parts. Okay. I'm going to stop it at parts to commentate and get y'all opinion on it. But
I'm supposed to settle for
yeah, I hear that.
Yes, we can hear it. Oh.
How tall are you?
I am 5'3".
Dress size?
I am a medium.
Dress size? Number?
A 10.
How much did you weigh last time you weighed yourself?
Why she took so long to answer?
57.
Because you're trying to
Fresh face out of the shower, just your natural face. On a scale from 1 to 10, what would you
This
rank
is
your
my
looks?
natural face.
Okay, fresh face out of the shower, your natural face. You can't use 7. What would you rank yourself? 1 to 10.
A 6.
Okay. A 6 is right above average. A 5 is average, right? You're 5'3", 100, a dress size 10, so that's above average weight. 5'3", you should be roughly dress size 4. 4'6", 125 pounds. Even if I believe you're 157, 160, you're almost 33 pounds, 33% over your ideal target weight. And you have listen. If you're average to cute looking, if you're below average health from a weight standpoint, and you have 2 children, overall, does that make you below average, average, or above average? Factor all those things in together.
Average.
So why should you get anything over? Then why should you get above average? What do you mean settle for? You should get what you are.
I see millionaires with average women all the time.
They don't have big chest tattoos either, and 2 other kids. Man,
So
I'm just saying. Okay, I want to know. I mean, let's be honest. Why should an average woman say she's settling for an average man? Maybe
ain't
that
nothing
makes
wrong with it. Wait.
No, you said so I should just settle. No, you said that. Listen. You said so I should just settle for an average guy, and I'm like, you're an average woman. Why should you not?
I would be settling. I mean, nothing wrong with
why would you be settling and he wouldn't? So what would he be doing? Would he be upgrading?
I hate that he speaks from a standpoint like he's speaking for all men. Some, you get what I'm saying, my two?
Mm-hmm. Wait just a minute. Hey, Step. Hey, Real Talk Vibes. I wasn't ignoring y'all. I was just waiting to pause that video. He don't speak for all men, but I hate to say it's a lot of men think like that.
Yeah, but the way that he be talking to them, he makes them think that he's speaking for all men. That's why she said what she said. She said, I've seen some celebrity men with average women. Cause he act like he's speaking for the whole community.
And also he doesn't say, in my opinion. I feel like
Right.
he always generalizes it as if he does speak for all men. And I think that's where the disconnect come with a lot of people,
Yes.
because they all look like they all would say, he would talk like he's speaking for every man, because every man doesn't turn down, plus size women. A lot of men love plus size women. But he generalized it as if all men don't, just because that's his preference. That's
Right.
his preference, not everybody. But hey, my 2 cents, and Tabby and everybody.
Hey, Lexi and Krisha. Okay, let's play some more of it. What y'all think in the chat? Y'all getting angry already at this man's point of view? Hey, Shanta.
He ain't finished.
That's just the
No.
icing on the, what is it? The icing on the cake hadn't gotten
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm gonna agree to disagree with this. I ain't gonna be upset.
yet.
Yeah, maybe you might want to take you some wine down.
So if he don't have no money,
You ain't fine enough for no money.
I'm not finding enough for money.
No. You're
Average
6.
women
You're
date
5. You're 5. You said
millionaires.
you're 6, ma'am. You said you're 6. You don't get money. You get second shift at the plant.
Oh.
Did you go to college?
No, I didn't.
Okay, ma'am. So
I have my own business.
congratulations. Don't care. Ma'am, you got
Wait.
2 children. And you said you are 6. I give you 5, 6. Your numbers together would be average. So why? So an average man would be upgrading to get you.
Fix it,
Look,
Jesus.
I didn't say all that.
I'm asking, ma'am, because we're just having a conversation. You said you'd be settling, so by extension, he would
Okay,
be.
so I guess we'll be settling for each other.
Well,
Is that
but he,
better?
no. But my issue is, you said settling for him. That means you'd be getting something less than what you deserve. When we settle, we get
Because
less.
I already have everything that I need. If he's not adding to me, then that will be settling, right?
Fabian, I want you to understand what I asked you last night. I asked this question oftentimes with black women. If you have to work as hard today or harder if you want children with a husband, would you rather have a husband or be single? And almost 100% of the time, black women would say, if I have to work as hard as I am today with a husband, I'd rather be single, because a husband is not, just by being a man ain't enough. He's supposed to make her life easier. That is why I have no problem telling women to die alone. It is not our job to make women's lives easier. It's our job to protect, provide, but that's not necessarily easy. It's harder. Relationships are hard. So, ma'am, you got all the things you need, except somebody to share life with. And the man who can meet your standards, okay? Can he meet other women's standards? Okay, then why should he not get the best? If he can meet your high standard, he can meet another woman's standard. And all I'm saying is that Why should a man have to settle for a woman with 2 kids? Because you got a
They
business?
don't have Kevin. They don't have to settle for me.
But you said you'd be settling for him.
I paused it. Let y'all interject.
Hmm.
Go ahead,
Don't all
Taylor.
speak at once.
Gotta gather my thoughts.
Um, he okay. So he kind of this is how can I say this? I couldn't take him serious because how he talks. Like to me, it's not like a firm, like respectful talk. Now, if it was like a firm, respectful talk, I can hear what he's saying. But because he's been so rude and disrespectful, is going in one ear out the other. Um, but I do understand some of the stuff that he's saying. He basically trying to ask her, um, if she's saying that she a 6, if she's below average or above average. But she's not answering the question, so it's frustrating him. And I notice he does that with a lot of women. Like if he asks a question and they don't answer it, they go all around with he gets very, very frustrated. And that's when he becomes extra rude. So I really can't I don't have a say on this part of the situation.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Because he's talking at her, like not to her. If that makes sense, Lord Jesus. What you say, Special K? Oh,
He
my T
is.
dropped.
I meant to
Oh,
turn the camera
I,
off and remove myself from the stage. I think he's talking like she's. I think that when these women come on this show, he's talking from his standpoint as to whether he will be attracted to them if they are something that he would be attracted to. Now, I
I
have
agree.
heard a lot of men that feel the way he feel, but they cannot speak for all men. They just generalize and putting all men in one cocoon, and they can't do that because all men don't feel like that. Um, but I have noticed a trend in men that tend to make a little bit more money, look for a certain type of woman, and that type of woman is normally not an average woman. They have a checklist that they want them to.
Mm-hmm. Check all
Um,
the boxes.
yeah, they want to check off boxes. They can't be this side. They can't do that. And the more money they make, the more they put stipulations on what kind of woman they want.
Exactly. I my opinion of him, what he said just right there, when I agree with you on the generalizing women, men, he doesn't, like I said before, he doesn't say, in my opinion, that's what I like. He doesn't, and he's just not a very nice person when it comes to his delivery. Like I said once before, his delivery is you lose the message in his delivery because he's so demeaning when he's Alexa. Thank you. Be quiet. Y'all here. Excuse me. Um, he tries to be articulate with his words, but the words that he chooses are not good. And if you have low self-esteem, it will just tear you down worse, because some of the women are kind of they average women, and they could be tweaked a little bit, but not the way he beat their self-esteem down. He's very, yeah, like I said, he's very demeaning. If that's, he just downgrades you even worse, by the way, and the questions that he's asking. That's your preference. That's not everybody's preference. He put value on what type of money you make. Okay, what type of money do you make? Because we're supposed to come together and put both of them on the table if that's the case. But see, a woman don't. He doesn't expect a woman to basically question him. It's his way. And I wanted to say so bad. Maybe that's why you didn't have a woman. But anyway, he was just he looked for superficial things, very superficial things. He you got to be a certain size. You got to be career wise. You have to make a certain amount, and all these things. So the things he was telling women not to ask for or not to look for, he looks for.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to say to him so bad when I saw that episode, I wanted to tell him what my mama used to tell us: money begets money. So if you're looking for money, why do you have these average women that you bring on and knock their self-esteem down? If you need to go to another, you need to pull back, some more class in your class type women, your preference. You need to get them
Mm-hmm.
and see if they would want you.
Yeah.
That's that's it.
Okay.
Steph
Hey,
said he ain't lie because in regards always be oh dang my tooth.
I took it down. I put it back up. I thought you were reading it out the chat.
I got it. She said
Okay.
he ain't lie because in regard always be a woman if you're on to handle yourself. Yeah. See, but he want because he asked her, she said that she was average. But he said, but you don't make no money.
Yes.
So it's like I don't. If I was his woman, I wouldn't know what he want. To be honest with you, because it's like he wants somebody perfect, and that's just impossible.
I saw a comment. Well, I'll get to it. Hey, that one. Hey, Spicy Brown. Hey, Robin. Anybody else came in the chat that I missed? How y'all doing? Um, and what's the guy?
And you
Terry.
right,
Hey,
Tom.
Terry. Okay. She said, wait a minute. It's like they can't comprehend what he's asking.
I think if he used better choice of words, they could, but he comes in a kind of harsh way
Right.
asking the question. He has a lot of, you know, testosterone in his voice when he's coming at them. He don't try to sweeten it up a little bit. He just sounds raw when he come at you. So you not this, you not that. What if all men talk like that? And another thing that he touched on that I just couldn't, I really didn't. And like I said, I agree with a lot of things that he say. I don't like his
Mm-hmm.
delivery.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but I will say this: he messed up when he that advice he gave about um a man is supposed to protect. Blah, blah, blah. That's speaking against the Bible because the Bible say that he's the head of the household, and having a wife is a plus. Basically, I'm just summarizing. But that's basically it's not like she come in. The Bible does tell you are to love, protect, and honor your wife as
Mm-hmm.
well. And you are the provider of the household. And if your wife have a job, then or a career, that's a plus.
It is. Hey,
Um,
Family Cool.
Special K, you wasn't here for the last live that she did, but the young woman, the young lady, um, they was talking, and she asked him. She said, "Hold up for 1 second, let me go get a drink." And she got up from the camera, and he went off. He was like, "Why would you do that? That's so disrespectful. If I was a white man, you wouldn't do that." And da da da. So
So
I was
we
like,
doing race now.
"Huh?
Girl, he
Yes."
carried on bad because she
He
went to get her something to drink.
Yes. So he went.
Okay,
So it's like it's something triggered him. It's like the respect, like he didn't get it when from. I don't know. It's just triggered him when she did that.
he's a game changer. Have y'all
Mhm.
ever heard a game changer on Alexis channel? That's his
Mm-hmm.
role model right there.
Mhm.
Kevin Samuels is his role model.
When I was watching Lexi Live and he was talking, that's who he reminded me. That's who Game
That's who
Changer
he referenced.
reminded me of. I
Yeah,
said, okay, he been watching too much Kevin Samuel.
and he said
Like,
it.
I do agree with some of the stuff that he say, but it's just his delivery. I would never
Yes.
receive it because of how it comes out of his mouth.
Exactly.
And the things that what I really can't get with, and we had this discussion also with Game Changer. I get with submissive, but submissive is something you shouldn't have to ask for, because it's a given when you treat the woman with respect or whatever, and you give her the same amount of respect she's giving you. Submissive gonna come anyway.
It is.
It's a given. You gonna give your husband all the submissiveness he need from you. If he's talking to you with respect, he's doing things that he's supposed to do or whatever. He doesn't have to ask you to be submissive. You're
Mm-mm.
gonna be submissive anyway. I can't speak for everybody, but I know that's a given with me, because it's all in how you treat me as
Mm-hmm.
as your wife. And if you um dogmatic, well, that's the type of behavior you're gonna get back from a independent person. If she's making it top dollar, like he said, these women, make this money, then of course they're gonna push back when you go to talking to them the way he talks to women. Because if he got upset because somebody went to get a drink, oh my God,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he really did.
he
He
gonna spaz out.
He's
he
spazzed out.
passed out, yeah.
Yeah. Shanta said, "Rest in peace to him." Wow, that's crazy to me though. Through all that, through all that talk, at the end of the day, he was married, but he was gay.
That's what a lot of people were saying. They said he hated
Yeah,
women.
I didn't want to say that, but I picked up those vibes from him.
I did too.
They did say
It's
he.
like someone really did him in.
Yeah,
Far as they put a bad taste in his mouth. But I always said Kevin been married twice, so I think it's him.
yeah. That's one of those situations we were talking about yesterday. When you find yourself attracting the same type of person, you got to take a look at yourself.
Because you stagnant then, you're not going anywhere.
Yep. Real talk vibes that he think being a man gives him the right to represent all men, which isn't true. He seems to have a disdain for a certain type of woman, likely stemming from his upbringing.
Yes, he has mommy that issues or something,
Yeah.
or he didn't see his dad talk to his mom with respect, because I've seen that happen before. Because some men, they see how their dads and uncles or whatever, and I'm not saying all, because some that makes them even more so, you know,
Mm-hmm.
aware of their behavior towards a woman, because they've seen their mom mistreated. So they go extra hard trying to not be like their dad or whatever father figure was in their life. They
Mm.
try not to do that. Like I had this discussion with a man once before about cheating, and I said, did your uncles cheat? Did your daddy cheat? Did you ever see cheating before? And he was like, yeah, of course, everybody do. No, everybody don't. Well, see, and it was something he said, that's just the nature of the man. I said, only if he allow it to be. And just because your daddy did it doesn't make it right. Just because your uncles did it doesn't make it right. So,
Right.
but that's what a lot of men fall back on. They think it's okay because they seen their father figures or their uncles and cousins, and it's just a generational curse in their families. To see that.
My two. Could do you have a video showing of a how he treats a different race of women? Because that was also said that he treats another race kind of a little bit,
Caucasian.
yeah, than
I
what
couldn't find any with Caucasians. I did find some bright skinned women. He was
yeah,
rude to them as
that would be
well.
a good one.
He color struck now.
Okay, because I heard of that as well, that he treats the other colors better than the way he treats the darker color women that comes up there. So I would love
Yeah.
to see the difference in that, because
Yeah.
if that's the case, yeah, it's some rooted stuff going on.
Deep rooted too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that one said KS was arrogant and very rude. I didn't care for his delivery. Um, I saw another. Oh, if Pammy Pooh, if I didn't speak to you, hey baby. Let's see. He thought women were supposed to bow down to him. He did. I wouldn't have never gone on that show because I would have acted like a straight fool.
Okay, just like you, Kevin, you say that high value men are supposed to have money, right? That's what you say. So
wait, let me get in here. Because you have money, you're supposed to be high value. Money determines your worth. Is that what he? Is that what he meant by that? Because
that's what he means.
You can find a man that makes under $40,000 and carries himself better than some of the men that make all this money. And to me, that's a high value man. It's not by how much money you make; it's by how you treat women. It's by how it's a package. It's not just a monetary package. But
that's how he labeled a good man or a high valued man. And you got to be a high valued woman based on your wallet as well.
No. Hey, Krisha.
Hey, I didn't even know I was up here yet.
Yeah. Okay. What you got to say about Mr. Kevin Samuels? I know you got an opinion.
Yeah. Not yet. Keep going.
Okay.
I have an opinion.
If they don't have money, that
go
means
ahead.
their value is low, right?
No.
And you go off women.
No. If you want to know, high value men, that's a completely different component. That's less than 10% of men.
Mm-hmm.
And high value men get high value women who are in high demand.
Right.
That's not your category.
Because I got kids, right?
You're not, ma'am. No, yes. Would you say that you're a woman that's in high demand or most wanted?
I could be. I mean, yeah, I could be. I mean,
you could be. So
okay. Can I tell you about myself?
Hold on.
Oh no,
ma'am, you're 37 with 2 children.
Oh my goodness.
Where in the world do women who are average to above average, average to cute, who are a little overweight with 2 kids, where are these women in high demand?
Kevin, I'm working on myself. So if
ma'am, I asked a very specific question. It's not because you're working on yourself. That's fine, but that doesn't mean you're in high demand.
I can get there, can I?
Mm-hmm.
And see,
so you mean to tell me if I can lose 20 pounds? And
80 years ago, with a woman in your position, even without the children, 80 years ago, would a woman in your position be with the top 10% man?
You said
80 years ago. 80 years ago. Would she be with a man in the top 10% of all men? 80 years ago.
Yeah.
No.
Yes,
there are a limited amount of these men to go around. Ma'am. This is what I want you guys to understand, especially in the Black community. You're an average woman by any stretch of the imagination. And I think that's being fair. Average at best is more likely the term. Average at best would be pretty fair. But listen.
I'm listening.
But the issue is, so I got to settle for an average man. That's not settling. That's getting what you can afford to buy on the sexual marketplace.
Okay, so if I wanted a high value man, what do I do?
Be reincarnated.
What?
You can't get one.
Girl, pause.
I'm gonna be honest, you can't. You're 37 with 2.
Hey,
37 is actually not bad to have 2 kids.
I was just thinking that.
A lot of people have 2 kids by 25.
He acts as if she's 14.
You said she does? Well, he does that, right? He does that, and he gets them to act exactly how she's acting. Can I?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not finna question what I can do. You're not finna even make me question what I think I could do, or what I know I could do, or what I know I can get. You're not doing that to me.
That's why I said in the chat, I said I don't like how they start belittling themselves when he intimidates them. she went from knowing who she was to like having
Downsized.
Mm-hmm.
2 kids.
like yeah,
She started sounding insecure.
yes.
Because he answered her question.
Mm-hmm.
He answered her question when she said, because I have kids. Yes, that's what he's saying. Because what else have you done? You know what I'm saying? What else is it that he can look at you and say you can't get one? It
Yep.
was she answered her own question
Basically.
Miss
Yeah.
because
Lasanda, his
he
name,
asked him could she tell him about herself. She never got a chance to do that,
Right.
so
Miss
he don't know what else she's offering.
Miss Lasanda, his name is Kevin Samuels. Um, he was real popular on YouTube before he died, and a lot of people didn't like him because of how women went on his show to get dating advice, and this is what they got. They would go in there with a lot of high self-esteem, and when they leave there, he beat on
In-
tore that self-esteem down.
Look at her
insecure
face
and
right now.
broken. Insecure and broken. That's what
That's
they
the
come
face
out
she
with him.
get. That's the face it's stuck on right now. Insecure and broken.
Yep.
He didn't took it away.
Sure did.
Mhm. But this is the thing with the I didn't like also. He okay, 9 times out of 10, if they're a certain age and they got children, already got 2 children or 3 children or 4 children before they even get married or something like that, okay, they probably living with a lot of regret. They don't hate their children and they still love their children or whatever, but to hear somebody tear you down for the choices you made and already feel that way inside anyway, because you've got family members sometimes will beat you down for the mistakes that you've made and in the choices that you've made in life. So you have those type of family members and people in the community that will make young girls feel bad about it anyway. And then for him to make it seem like you are cursed for life, no man don't want you because you have children. It's just where I can't get with that part. That part right there drives me crazy. He hadn't even got to the
Or that you're not
self-esteem.
a woman because you have kids already.
Yeah, you less than.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Well,
you're less than.
I didn't understand when he said 8 years ago. First of all, we're not living in that time. Number one.
Right.
Number two, 80 years ago, yes, it was because grandma was pregnant at. Y'all don't get me started.
10.
15,
Hmm.
married
Okay.
at 16.
And plenty kids running around.
Exactly.
So he can cut. He can cut it. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. You can play it, my too.
I can get this mouse back over
Hey,
there.
Lachelle's.
Kids.
Hey,
Hey,
Michelle.
If
Lachelle.
they're less than 10% of the men, why would he pick you over a woman with no children?
But Kevin, I talk to pretty good high volume. I go on dates with high caliber men. I don't go
Yes,
on
they will
dates
go on
with
dates with you. They will talk to you. They'll have sex with you.
we talk about marriage. We talk about marriage.
I want you to understand this is what the issue is because I've talked about this for a year and a half because men will deal with you. What man of value who is a high value man recognized by other men of value? What man
Mm.
that fits in that category is seriously vetting you to be a wife today?
I'm talking to someone now. I'm been dating this guy now who's a pretty high value, and we've been talking
How
about
old is
marriage.
he?
He's 51.
And what makes him high value?
He owns his own car dealership,
Uh-huh.
and he has multiple businesses.
Uh-huh.
He owns houses. Like
Uh-huh.
he's doing pretty good for himself. He's
Mm.
probably
Okay.
not rich, but
Ma'am, being high value is more than just money.
And
he
being
got a
low.
good head on his shoulders. He got a good personality. He take care of himself. He work out. He don't even look like he
Oh
50.
Jesus Christ. Ma'am. I'm trying to be reasonable. But it's more than just money. And I'm saying a man like, okay,
What
why
is
would a man
And it's more than
Pause,
just
How
pause,
can I
kids.
say
please,
this
right,
without
my
And
sounding
too.
it's
rude?
more
Pause
than
right
just
there.
kids. It's more than just her having kids too. Just like it's more than just a man having money.
See, see, this is what I can't get with him. He's trying to. She said that this man that she just said that she's talking to or dating or whatever.
Hey Siri, hey Upper.
He
Hey,
sounds
Upper
like he's
and
hey
somebody.
upper. He sounds like he's hey, who did we miss? Lachelle's. Hey Lachelle. I he sounds like he's trying to take take away from her by like, oh, now he's changing it, saying, well, since she checked all the boxes that he called a high dollar man, well, let
Yep.
me, so he want to spin it around now to fit his narrative.
Yep. He good for that.
That's
Yep.
all. That's all he was doing, because he was that what she said about this gentleman is everything that everybody health wise. He's in shape. He doesn't look like he's 51 years old. He owns his own dealership. She said he may not be rich like, I guess, to his standards, but he's doing well for himself. Uh no, 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 no. Go back to the beginning. That's what he said. A high dollar man.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's what he said. She said all the things about herself nice except for the financial part. And so he said because she wasn't financial stable or whatever, she wasn't a high dollar woman. So
Yeah.
making it make sense.
He wanted to switch it back. He wanted to turn it around and wordplay, because he wanted to make the man basically not want her, make her feel even more worse than he's already making her feel. So he wanted to like water her down, like, just keep on beating at her, because he looking at her. Everything is based on her side and two children.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Her children, yep.
My question is, he, from what I understand, he passed away and he was in the room with the prostitute allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he's supposed to be this high valued man. Why
He paid
weren't the
the
high
food.
valued women checking for him? He had to go and get a prostitute.
He was high value. He
Yeah,
probably charged him dearly.
that's what I'm saying. So where was his high valued woman?
Hmm.
Mm-mm.
So just like he can put stipulations on them, she's not their type. Well, maybe he's not the type of a high valued woman.
A real
Definitely.
man and her being 37 don't care nothing about her having two kids.
Thank you.
Right.
Okay. A real man gonna come in. Real men are looking for number one nurturers.
Hmm.
You
Now,
know what I'm saying? You
Because
know what
they
I'm saying?
already got the money.
I have been around what he considers high valued men, and I have been around just men just out there working. They not be making, like I said, 100,000, but they doing pretty well. And I've heard both sides of the coin. I've heard the ones that think they're uppity and they put all these stipulations on what they want as a woman. I've seen the so-called high-valued men say they wouldn't date no what they call them 10, because those type women are superficial and they're coming after them for their money. They want
Mhm.
somebody average, as he said, that he knows that will love them for them and not their money.
Mm.
And then I've seen the average men that go after the same thing as these high valued men. Come these ones that I guess they want to be magazine ready and get shot down. So he cannot speak for all men because different men have different tastes. But I have seen men with money that say they would want an average woman. They don't want no woman because those women know. They said
How to
that
get that money.
yeah, they know um, that they're quote unquote all of that, and then they just act differently than
They feel like they don't need you.
yeah, yeah.
They secure within themselves, and the ego that you had, the man has, they have it too,
Yeah.
because they feel like, you can. The man said that, I don't want you no more. Okay, because I don't need you either. So
Hmm.
it's like they have to go even harder trying to prove themselves
Trying to
to that
impress.
woman. Yeah.
Mm.
So I just feel like he just. Whew, He had it all wrong. But go ahead.
Real talk value said he assigned his worth as a monetary value, but yet he was likely buried to a woman of lesser status.
Hello. Oh, a man.
Mm-hmm.
Cause he was in control.
Real
Yeah,
talk vibe said his value was not highly regarded. He was an emotional abuser, and he was.
he really was.
He really was.
You know what? And this is just my opinion of abuse. You know, it's all different sorts of abuse. Okay, you got verbal, you got mental, you got emotional, all kind of abuse, right? Mental is the worst form to me because that uh, and don't get me wrong, nobody don't need to throw nobody from the mountaintop, either. And I excuse that. But what I'm saying is mental, it stays in your head. It it look like it's everything to get rid of that idea of someone who has manipulated your way of thinking, then actually physical. Because you may get a black eye, that black eye go away, but you mentally you still see that black eye from time to time if you look in your face or you get to that point or you and that person arguing or whatever. It's still there. The scarring is gone,
Mm-hmm.
but that pain of knowing, that black eye is still in your head. You still see it when nobody else see it.
It's a
So,
stain.
huh?
Stain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the worst form of abuse is what he used to do. He mentally manipulated women train of thought, take all of that away. And you just don't know what a person went through probably to even get to that point. You don't
Mm-hmm.
know how many doors were slammed in their face to get to that point. And I'm just saying that for men and women, how they was discriminated about their weight, how they was discriminated about their color of whatever. And then he adds on to it with
Mm-hmm.
the all of his negativity. I mean, if you just want you a Caucasian woman, baby, just say that.
Okay.
Oh,
Or if you just want he's all for the aesthetic. He want,
yeah.
you went after her weight. That's easy. That's something you could lose, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but he's looking for, and this is the same thing I was talking about with Jamal Willard. Like they want it. The high value woman they looking for got to have the bought bodies. They
Hmm.
got to be carrying the Birkin bags. They got to be driving the finest cars, and that's what
Hmm.
they looking for. And then they have to go upkeep that. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And it's crazy. They don't want a regular schmegler woman that is, got two children and working, maybe in school and working with her two kids. They don't want that. The one they gonna come home to the cook dinner. Them half them women that they looking for can't even cook. They gotta have a maid in every day. Man, please.
But you know what? I look at people like Snoop. Yeah, I've seen Snoop Dogg wife. Look how long they've
Mm-hmm.
been married.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Denzel.
Denzel, Ice T, and not
Mm-hmm.
Ice Cube, Ice Cube. All these
Mm-hmm.
people been married to regular smuggler women
Mm-hmm.
ever since they've been in the industry. Oh, before they was going with them in high school and stuff like that. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and these women stayed in the shadow too, so they could elevate and whatever. But I have to say, they didn't leave. Now they could have done anything under the sun out there in the street, on the road or whatever, but they were secure enough in their marriage for their wives to stay there and be happy and be content with being in the shadow. Oh, LL Cool J,
Mm-hmm.
nice
Mm-hmm.
looking man, could have had any woman he wanted,
Mm-hmm.
rock they bells or whatever, but he didn't. He still got the same woman after 36 years, almost 36 years. That's commendable. See, that's why I said this man, he's sitting up here voicing his opinion like he's talking about all black men, all men, period. And that's not true. That's not true because these men been married to these women and have really lucrative, careers.
Mm-hmm.
Method Man won, and Method Man in his old age, he's a sex symbol.
Oh, it
Mm-hmm.
sure is. I
I
didn't
mean,
even
come
look at
on.
him when he was younger.
Well, he, when he was, him and Method Man and what's his name,
Red man,
with his friend, they used to rap together. But
red
anyway,
man, and the man.
yeah,
Mhm.
he all this time, a lot of women, because a lot of those stars didn't like for people to even know they was married because they felt like they were their image. It would hurt tarnish their image, to be married. So they didn't want nobody to know they was married back then, 80 years ago. But now it's like, oh, he show up on the red carpet. Oh, I didn't know he was married, been married.
Mm-hmm.
But see, they was looking for the Kim Kardashians to come down the red carpet with them.
Yep.
LL
I mean,
Cool
I'm
J
trying
wife just did a sit
to.
down about that.
He sure did.
She just did what?
She just did an interview about that.
Who
Mm-hmm.
did it? Who
LL
did
Cool
it?
J.
Oh, okay.
Um,
And she's a
mhm,
beautiful woman to me.
she
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
But you also gotta know, go ahead, Matu.
Why would a man who has this going on, and what state are you in?
I am in Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay, I didn't need, I just said state. But anyway, why would a man who's choose a woman like that? Okay, if you say he's high value, to me, when I talk about high value, it's not just money. It's over a period of time. It's what you do. It's also men of value must recognize you as a peer or a potential peer. You got to have a network of high value men and others, and you must be useful to others in a group. So you judge a man not just on his money, by his network, by other men who say, yeah, that's a man of value. He's a mover or shaker, a
Yeah,
most eligible.
he
Okay,
got
man, but these men don't settle. They don't settle. They don't get
Or
women who
lie.
are. They don't. There are men on YouTube right now saying, "I don't know what I'm talking about being high value." But here's one thing that they do agree with me on: they don't take a woman with children. They don't.
That's not true.
I've had men who vehemently disagree with me on a lot of things. They don't listen to me, but unanimously, we don't take another man's children because that's not even in their mindset. They don't.
Can you pause it real quick, Matu? A lot of men nowadays are looking at you funny if you 37 with no children.
Hello. I
hmm
didn't have them ask me. I'm just being honest, and I'm married and everything, but they'll say, well, they'll ease around it. Why you didn't have no children? Women too. Why y'all don't have children? We do, but why you didn't have any children? They think you know an old maid after 35 if you don't have children.
Yep.
hmm Mm.
So it's all in the preference what you want. And I've known men to marry women with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 children, and then none of them was theirs.
Yep.
Hmm. And I've also seen men walk away from women who had 10 children for him, for a woman with 4 or 5. So what's his point? Is what I'm asking. What's his point?
He don't have one.
He never do.
He don't even know why he keeps saying that dumb stuff. That's his preference. I don't know why he keeps thinking like he's talking for somebody he done had. He lying. It's some men out there that love children.
Hmm.
It's men that out there love women with children because they feel like if she taking care of children, that means she's cooking, she cleaning, you know what I'm saying? She gonna take care
Yep.
of me. It's just whatever a man prefer. But he, child,
I will say this: if all men felt that way or believed that ideology, um, I wouldn't have the stepfather I have now. Because
mm,
he married my mother, which is a very high dollar woman, I consider, and she had 3 daughters when they met.
My great grandmother, she had 5 before, and my grandfather married her, and then she had 4 more.
I had three. I had been married before and divorced, and when I met my husband, I had three. My baby was like almost 2 years old, and
Hmm.
he married me, raised my kids, and when he died, they said, "That's my daddy." That man in that casket, that's my daddy. did not know their real dad. Everybody that saw their dynamic and the way he treated them, those were his.
Hmm.
So he can't say that nobody wants some woman with kids or ready-made family. That's what they call it down south.
Yes, they do.
Mm.
But I mean, that's an idiot right there. Because if that was the case, like I said, I come from, I was 1 years old and I'm the baby of the three, and my mom met him when I was barely walking, and that's my daddy.
Hmm.
And if you say otherwise, you got a problem with all three of us, because that's our daddy. And that's how we look at him. We don't care what nobody say about that's your stepdad. No, that's my daddy. Which my
Yeah,
dad is deceased now, but that was my daddy. That was the man who taught me how women are supposed to be treated by men. That was the man who taught me how to ride bikes. That's the man who bought the car after graduation. That's the man who sent me to college. That's the man that sent all three of us. So what is he talking about? And he was a high dollar man. He had a very good job, very lucrative job. But it wasn't about that. It was about he wanted the woman, and is still with the woman.
Yeah.
look how she went from looking like she just got a look of defeat on her right now.
Yes, she
The
does.
longer you talk to her, the more and more her self-esteem drop.
And she about to cry.
So you ladies can call it what you want, and I'm thinking, how long have y'all been dating?
Um, 2
Hmm?
weeks now.
I said seriously, but considering you to be a wife in 2 weeks, ma'am. Yep.
I said we've been talking about it.
Ma'am, that's what I'm saying, ma'am. I said, what man of value who's recognized by other men of value is seriously vetting you to be a wife? And you said this man, you ain't known this dude but 2 weeks.
From the streets. I'm a bitch from the streets. I get the money.
The only reason I'm pushing
Hmm.
this hard, ma'am, is because
Yeah,
I
but
really
why
get,
you be so?
it triggers me when I hear average women talking about settling for average men. And I'll be honest,
Why do it trigger you?
because you'd be lucky to get an average man. He would be settling for you. He would
Oh.
be
We saying the
settling for
same
you
thing
to have to
over and
deal with
over.
you, two
Hmm.
children from somebody else. Yes, ma'am, that's why.
Can I
Because
say something, Kevin?
no, you asked, let me finish. He'd be settling for you because
Why?
you.
Did she turn her camera off? He done made her so insecure. She turned her camera off.
And he kept going.
Yeah, he
Wow.
just badgering her.
Hmm.
So he's
Because I
settling.
got two.
Mm.
Hmm.
Now I agree with him on a point. Y'all don't beat me up. But I actually agree with him on a point. On the point that about the 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well,
Just for
to a
self,
certain extent,
yeah. I was just saying,
because
a certain
you can
extent, I agree.
you can have that on the on the first day. You can say, "Do you believe in marriage?" or how what is your take on marriage?
Yeah,
If you're not, especially if you're dating, you know, for that, not
but
just to play games.
but when she first answered the question before, this segment, we paused this segment, she said she met, she's been dating. Okay, 2 weeks. I would have at least threw that in there. Well, I met someone of high dollar. I feel is high dollar. And we've been dating and talking, having different conversations to see where it's gonna go.
Right. Because I thought the way she was talking that they've been together longer than 2 weeks.
I thought that too.
Yeah.
So I would have put that out there so he wouldn't have had a big aha moment.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Real talk, Brian
But if
said
he's
she needed me to be in that room with her.
but if he has common sense, you know, if you I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like you would have been like, he should have asked. So is this because are you dating for marriage? Is that what you're looking for? So do y'all have that conversation so you can see his views on certain things? Like he could have asked. He just soon as she said 2 weeks, like man, please, I wouldn't even sit there and talk to him.
Lachelle said he destroyed her confidence in her view of her man. Latae said
Mhm.
that man was cray cray, y'all. Robin said, I think he made her feel so bad until she made that whole story up.
I feel like she made now, Robin. I do
I'm
feel
with
like
you too,
she
Robert.
made the story up.
I wanted to just cry for her because
And
when
he
she
clapped
said
so hard at her, she turned the
when she
camera
said
off.
2 weeks, I said, "Oh Jesus, girl, I can't help you."
She did make that she did make the story up. I'm gonna agree with that one.
Yeah, I really thought that too. I was sitting here saying, I said, I think she just grabbed that out the top of her head to be able to say somebody wanted me.
Because
You
when
know,
he was asking her about him, she was like looking to the side, like she was doing the line. You're looking to the side, and she was naming things that he did, like she was trying to think of what he did. He got his own car dealership,
and she
his
kept pausing. Said,
own houses.
I said,
She kept
oh.
pausing.
And see, I don't get with the when he asked her a question, she's never, very
Not
just
sharp.
forthcoming. She's like, no, no, that's a lie. Because when you first,
Yeah,
Okay.
Robin. I was thinking that, but I wasn't gonna
Children.
say that.
Amongst other things, yes.
Mm, I mean, I'm a good person to get along with,
Right,
so
that may be, ma'am. That may be. You could be a perfectly lovely person, but there are other women who are perfectly lovely people who are childless and more physically appealing.
What?
that's fine. Like, I mean,
So that means, so man, by definition, see, that's the thing. The kind of men you ladies talk about you want, they are rare. They are for every man that falls into your category, there are thousands of women that want him. He can only have one wife. That's
let you
why.
tell it. He gonna have a lot of wives. I mean, a
No,
lot
no,
of
no, no. He
women.
gonna have a lot. He gonna have a lot of. He gonna cheat a lot, but he ain't gonna have one wife. He can only marry one person. It's called
Well,
bigotry. All right,
some
that's enough.
men.
That's enough. That's enough. No, that's enough. You can only have
Oh
one wife. Don't.
no. Oh
No,
hell
no,
to
no,
the
no.
no.
That's all. You can only have one wife.
Acting like you.
Only
Ooh, mm.
fair.
Thank you, Lord.
Child.
Sometimes the Lord do things and you don't even know why.
Hmm.
Mhm.
He
But
protected
he-
a woman out there.
Mm-mm-mm.
Nope, nope. You sat there and why did you marry your baby daddy? Uh,
We grew
I mean,
apart.
this is huh?
We grew apart.
Jesus, don't say it. You grew. Whew, softball. You grew apart. Was that before or after the second child?
The second child, we was getting into arguments and stuff. So it's
You
just
got a
Uh-huh.
white lady.
So, and how long were y'all together?
we was together since we were teenagers.
See, that's the problem. That's another problem, man. You get no higher than your baby daddy.
Mm.
Because men look at a woman and then she look at her children because men say, I'm not gonna go raise a lesser man's child. That's what happens.
You think all men think like that?
You think I got a million subscribers on each platform because I don't know what I'm talking about? You think I can do this night in, night out, and people co-sign? Ma'am, y'all would be better off to realize that more men think like this because the results show they do. You're almost like a mirror copy of Average at Best. The video
Mm.
that sparked
Oh,
a lot of this. She only had one kid, you got two.
Speak to Jesus.
Yes.
You trying to make it seem like I'm you trying to
I'm
feel
saying
like
I'm making it seem
saying
no.
I'm
I want you to
better.
understand that how we came in is the same thing that she said. You saying I would have to settle for an average man, and this is a men's platform. What do you think you were saying to all the men that are average men when you say that you will be settling for them? 50% of men are average or below. You don't have a problem offending them.
No, I don't want to offend nobody. What is
When
you
you say you
trying?
settle, okay, ma'am, if I said I settled for you, would that make you feel good?
A lot of people settle in
If I said I
relationships.
settle for, don't see, when a woman doesn't answer a question directly, she's attempting to be deceptive.
Yes, I'll be mad. Yeah, I'll be mad.
Right. Thank you. So don't play with me. So when you
Oh,
say you're going to settle for an average man, you don't mind offending them. So I have no problem telling you why I think it's crazy for an average woman. Average, you say you're five, a six. I'll give you a six, 5'6". Okay, fine. But all the other things, man, puts you below average. Where can
If I
I
have
want you to
two
listen? Let's take it away from you and me. Let's take it away from you and me and looks and everything else because it's too personal. Okay, let's do this. Okay, let's reset the table. Okay, where would it make sense for a high school graduate who graduated with a C, a 2.0, a C, a 2.0, right?
Mhm.
Would it make sense somebody like that demanding to get into Harvard, Princeton, MIT, Stanford?
No,
Would they be settling for junior college?
What?
no.
Your JUCO, junior college, 2.0. But the way you talk and women like yourself talk is like you deserve to get into Princeton, Harvard, MIT, Stanford. When you're a 2.0, going to junior college.
And beat her down so bad she
Possibly.
got her hand.
Sure. I mean, and understand people go to junior college and get associates, decide to go.
Everybody in junior college, raise your hand, and are you offended? Because I would be.
Child, nothing he say will offend me. Especially K.
Well, he did now, so no, it really don't. But I'm just saying, if at that time, he, I mean, you
Mm,
sitting here, not only are you just didn't beat this poor woman down in the ground, you
yeah.
didn't went off on half of 75% of America with the
mhm.
junior college thing. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, really, dude.
My cousin, she's a nurse practitioner now. She can't go no higher unless she take classes to become. But she's a nurse practitioner. When we first graduated school, she had a 1.7 GPA.
Mm-hmm.
She was determined. She was determined. She went to junior college, and she
Mm-hmm.
dropped out of junior college. Her parents had money, so they kept sending her to school. She went to junior college. Then she went to AU in Atlanta, and she struggled, but she finally got her nursing degree. And we was telling her after she flunked out of the major college year, then she left and went to junior college. We was telling her, well, maybe nursing's not for you because you don't spend a lot of money and you don't been to school 6 years and you don't even have a
But you
LPN.
could have a doctor.
You don't even have an LPN. Maybe you need to pick another major. But she was like, no, I'm gonna be a nurse. She kept at it. She finally got her RN. Then she went back. She got her master's in nursing. And today she's a nurse practitioner. So you cannot say because of where a person is now, they're at junior college level. Now they won't get to doctorate later. I mean, university level later. So I don't agree with his analogy talking about junior college.
It's a lot of people start out at junior colleges because
Exactly.
they like it. I'm gonna tell you why they do, because the classrooms are more smaller and more intimate for as learning. You don't have to be number 400 and whatever in the class, at a university. Depends on which one you go to, but it's like you're a number. You're not actually a person to your professor or whatever. You can't just raise your hand in class and ask a question or whatever. It's the intimacy a lot of people like because it's smaller and they can get that one-on-one time if they have a question about something or whatever with the teacher after class. That's what I found to a lot of people like.
Yeah. The bad part is that she's still answering his questions. I would have been done talking to him.
Girl, she got her hand up to her head like she just over with.
She
I don't know
defeated.
why she kept sitting there. I really did because I wouldn't just
It's
sit
like
there for.
it's like, hey Gemini rising. It's like he takes pleasure in doing black women like this.
Mm-hmm.
So
He always want to talk about how black women beat down the black men, but he was no better because he every woman that comes on his show, he beating them down.
junior
I
college and
would
go
have
to a
been gone.
4 year, and it will be far better in the world for women who are average to get with an average man because an average man provides a woman options. But I don't want you to get with an average man and feel like you're settling. You need to treat that man with respect because a man is
I
worth
mean,
more than a goddamn
I
paycheck.
would never. I mean, if I'm in a relationship with somebody, why would I disrespect them?
I'm talking about women in general. And well, you disrespected them by saying settling. That's why. That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful. Saying I'm settling is a condescending, disrespectful tone. Just like you say, you would feel some kind of way if I said I settled for you. But my grandmother settled for my grandmother had a sixth grade education. My grandfather had a fourth grade education. She settled for him and gave us a family legacy that we are still trying to measure up to. We are not doing nearly as well as the people who had less education and more hard circumstances in the black community before us. We are not good stewards of of their legacy, and part of the reason is because our women are so out of line. You think you're settling or should get more, and you can't get more. There are only a handful of these men, but the rest of women get men who roughly around their area. Yes, it's okay to want something better. It's okay to graduate with a 2.0 and want to get into Princeton or want better, but you got to be realistic and pick. Now, again, everybody who thinks I'm being a little harsh or whatever, she's 37 with two kids and still hasn't put together any real thought about what a marriage or a relationship should be. But y'all focus on my tone and my delivery and this and that. And all I'm sitting here trying to do is tell women like you, man,
But
that you would be
honestly,
life is better with somebody on your level. And understand something. I'm gonna say this and I'll let you speak. If I put you with a high value man and you were his wife and you went around these places, do you feel like you would fit in a room with these women, their wives?
yes, yes, because I'm classy. I'm not a ratchet type woman.
And say you're ratchet.
I know how to speak. I know how to drink from a glass. I mean, I
Ma'am,
know
they
how
would
to
look,
set.
ma'am, ma'am, they would look at your chest tattoo and rule you out.
I could cover that with makeup, Kevin. I wouldn't even have this
Okay,
type of
okay,
outfit
okay,
on.
okay. And see, that's another thing. I've had so many women who were married to these kind of men say these women have no idea how snarky and how vicious these women can be.
And I got this when I was young.
It doesn't matter, ma'am. You got it, and you still got two kids out of wedlock, ma'am. They're gonna. All the woman have to do is like, oh, hey, how you doing? Hey, Roger, here's your wife. Hey, Miss Cleveland. Hey, how you doing? So, Roger, yeah, he's a VP of marketing, uh-huh. And where'd you graduate from college? What? Ohio? State? Michigan? BT and
I thought that didn't
Oh,
matter.
you didn't graduate. Oh, you didn't graduate from college. Okay, all right. Uh-huh.
But Mr. Kevin
Ma'am, I'm
Samuels,
just telling. Okay, never
I'm
mind. They don't
confused.
get it. They don't get it. They don't get it. They don't get
I
it.
thought, can I say something? You said you
Go
was
ahead.
going to
Yeah,
let
you
me
can say
talk.
something. Go ahead.
I thought you said like college and all of that type of stuff didn't matter.
I said to men it doesn't matter, but I asked you being in the room with their wives. When you're in with the soccer moms and the 4-H club in the junior league and all these other women, oh, women size you up. They're looking at everything about you, and you know how women can be. And if you don't, let me tell you, these women, they look at everything.
A
But
potential.
All
I'm
right,
a business
never
owner.
mind. It's enough. It's enough.
Can I? You said you
Now,
wanted me
at
to.
the end of the day, no, you don't get a high value men want something for their value. You may be a perfectly lovely woman, but they're limited in supply. And if you had as many options as he does, would you settle for a man like you? Would you settle for a woman like you? Would you do that? If you had as many options of men as he has in women, would you settle for you? Of course you would. Outside of your mind. That's why I have no problem. That's why I have no problem staying on code. Because shame, insults, guilt, and need to be right. They're gonna keep going and 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 keep going. Keep going. Average at best, meet average at worst.
I'm supposed to settle for a
Settle. They don't get women who are they don't there are men on YouTube right now saying I don't know what I'm talking about being high value. But here's one thing that they do agree
Did I
with
go
me
back
on.
too
They
far? I don't
don't
know what
take a
happened.
woman with children. 2 weeks.
From the streets. I'm a bitch from the
Oh, that's
streets.
good.
Let's reset the table, okay?
a lot of people settle in
If I said I
relationships.
settle for don't see when a woman doesn't answer a question
I'm sorry,
directly,
y'all. I made a
she's
mistake. I
attempting
went all the
to
way
be
back.
deceptive.
Yes, I'll be mad.
Gemini Rising said she liked him. BP said she missed him so much. Miss Lysandra said Creole would have cussed his ass out.
She know me well.
And Gemini Rising said, "Oh, I know he chewed her up. Yeah, he has been disrespecting her a lot on here."
Mm-mm.
This video got the panel quiet. Go on and say what y'all want to say.
You know, I understand it to an extent, dating your caliber, but don't shoot all of, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't tear her down like that because you don't feel like she's a high value woman to you, for you. He's speaking for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
Gemini, I like I like his message. I don't like the delivery of his message. Sometimes he does go in a little bit overboard and he's rough with these women. Some of the stuff that he says, I get it, but it's just how he says it. His delivery is awful. And a person can receive you better if you knew how to have empathy when you communicate your words.
It's a way to do everything.
Yeah.
It's a way to do everything. And the thing about it is, what got me where I always said his delivery was trash. I agree with a lot of stuff he say because I know that what the point he is making, or as that. But when you don't really know a person's background or as what they've gone through and why they are in the situation they're in, you gotta have a little bit more, like you said, my 2 cents. You said he needs to have a little bit more, be a little bit more empathetic when he's speaking to these women because his it's actually his arrogance and his um ego get in the way of the message as well.
Can't receive it.
You can't that's exactly, you can't receive it, you can't hear it because of unless you just one of those type of people that he can't knock your self-esteem no matter how hard he try. You just not one of those type of women that you can break, and that comes from over the years being able to have a self-esteem and hold your own.
Mhm.
But like her, you can tell she is broken.
Mm,
And then he admitted that his delivery is trash. So
mm.
I'm like, sir, you know better, you do better, right? So how are you sitting here? What if a woman spoke to you the way you're speaking to these women? It would be you disrespecting a man then. Well, that goes both ways. The woman is to be respected
Well,
just
you
as the
know what,
man.
Gemini? I'm sorry. But you know what, Gemini? I get what you're saying, but who's gonna be with a man that as soon as they talk, that's enough, enough. That's who let me get my point across if you can get your point across. I wouldn't even d- dare date a man like him. I don't
That's
care
not a
how value he is
conversation.
if I can't speak.
That's not a conversation.
No.
He's demeaning. I mean, he's sitting here and he's degrading women and saying it, like this is for all women. No, because all women are not like that. And all men are not like that. You're not comparison anything to what you're saying. Show me where you have went out and did your research. Just because you have the following doesn't mean that you did your research to know that you can't even say 5% of men think like this because you speaking opinion based only. And what why? Where did you get it from?
Right.
Mhm.
The
No,
way
because
he talked to
Monica,
people, it's like it's as a parent. Like,
He needs a
he lost
child.
me. He lost me at her me having
yeah.
2 kids at 37. That's nothing wrong with that.
I
He
mean,
Now,
that is very disrespectful to speak to a woman the way he does, and in the tone that he speaks to them. You know, it may be that you the quality of somebody's life about that, but I'll take you there. What if he was talking to your daughter?
Gemini said, in all honesty, he didn't owe them anything. It's unfortunate, but that's how life is. Latte said he was a hater. Gemini Rising said a woman, yet a yes woman, LOL. And then our BP said he was funny to me. They shouldn't have called his show asking dumb questions at their big ages. And they said he started with men. Yeah, I did see him being rough on some men when I was looking for a video. And Michelle said, I said the same thing the other day, Creature Girl. The way my mouth is set up, that man would have had to put his hands on me. Would have
Exactly.
put his hands on me. It's only got a little bit more, y'all.
Okay.
I want to
Yeah, yeah.
no
I'm
chat.
next.
Right. Thank you. So don't play with me. So when you
mm,
say you're going to settle for an average man, you don't mind offending them. So I have no problem telling you why I think it's crazy for an average woman. Average, you say you're 5 or 6, I'll give you a 6, 5, 6. Okay, fine. But all the other things, man, put you below average. Where
Yeah,
can
because I
I
have
want you to
two
listen? Let's take it away from you and me. Let's take it away from you and me and looks and everything else because it's too personal. Okay, let's do this. Okay, let's reset the table. Okay, where would it make sense for a high school graduate who graduated with a C, a 2.0, and C, a 2.0, right?
children.
Would it make sense somebody like that demands a family legacy that we are still trying to measure up to? We are not doing nearly as well as the people who had less education and more hard circumstances in the black community before us. We are not good stewards of of their legacy, and part of the reason is because our women are so out of line. You think you're settling or should get more, and you can't get more. There are only a handful of these men, but the rest of women get men who roughly around their area. Yes, it's okay to want something better. It's okay to graduate with a 2.0 and want to get into Princeton or want better, but you got to be realistic and pick. Now, again, everybody who thinks I'm being a little harsh or whatever, she's 37 with 2 kids and still hasn't put together any real thought about what a marriage or a relationship should be. But y'all focus on my tone and my delivery and this and that. And all I'm sitting here trying to do is tell women like you, ma'am,
But
that you would be
honestly,
life is better with somebody on your level. And understand something. I'm gonna say this and I'll let you.
Somebody was going to say something.
I want to say this. How can you say what's on someone's level or what was on his level? Because you don't feel like women are on your level at all.
mm-mm.
So how can you say something about someone else's level and you don't respect women enough to even have let them get a word in? They don't have an opinion.
She said Kevin woke a lot of men and women up in just a little time. Feminists hate him, and male scrubs really can't relate.
But you know what? I don't. We got to remember this is not real life. I don't feel like he. Maybe he did wake some people up, but At the end of the day, he wasn't even living this.
No.
He wasn't even living this for real. Look where he was found at.
Full of Viagra and Levitra.
Exactly. He wasn't even living this life that he's trying to tell somebody else how to live. So I you know, like I said, dating in your caliber, yes, definitely agree with it. You know what I'm saying? Dating higher than your caliber, yes, I agree with it. Because somebody could take you and get you right up to where, you know what I'm saying, they could see
Mm-hmm.
what you have, you know what I'm saying, and take that little bit and make it more,
Thank you.
right? But at the end of the day, he wasn't doing none of this.
Yep.
And
Kevin
yes,
will.
that's why I said I need something like, okay, you saying all of this, but where's your facts? This been proven, you know, so you can stand on what you're saying. And like Krisha said, he wasn't living the life that he's sitting here, going in so hard. And I get it, everybody is different, but you can't just say no man don't want you. No man don't want you, you know, because you got two children. Those are the things you don't want. Say that.
hmm But you know what? I don't know if a lot of y'all know who Derek Jackson is. He puts me in the mind frame of him. He was talking about relationships and marriages, and it was so great. It sounded so good coming out of his mouth. All along, he was dragging that wife so terrible behind the scenes. Like, I don't be believing these
Mm-hmm.
people. This is the internet. This is where you come to make some dollars at. You won't get me.
Like I said, I
Right.
mean, a woman has
And
the
his
right to
woman
say
is
what she likes too. He may not have checked every box, you know, with a lot of women.
hmm Yeah, he wasn't. See, and then Gemini, Gemini talk about he was a cheap dog, but you talking about you liked him. He up here can't even practice what he preaching. Where was his wife?
His wives, he had two.
Why he was where he was?
She said, I do. He's from my town, and his cousin is my bestie.
who? Derek Jackson, Latae?
Oh, Derek Jackson, yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Derek was spitting a whole bunch of bull crap, right?
Right.
And it sounded so good. You know, it was like them men, let me stop. They talk to in prison, be telling them good lies. That's what he
Hmm.
was doing, baby, living a whole nother life.
Mm-mm.
Speak.
Yes,
If I
we
put
know
you with
he
a
was
high
full of
value man,
Viagra.
You know
Mm-hmm.
what? Special
and
K
you
said
were his
something
wife,
like,
and you went around these
here's the
places, do
thing.
you feel
Hold on,
like you would
Masu.
fit in a room with these
Here's the
women,
thing.
Wait a minute. Let
We
me.
their
didn't have to
Oh,
wives?
we didn't have to know why he was talking to us, but we found out when he was done talking to us.
Hmm.
We found out.
I don't know who Derek Jackson is, so I don't have an opinion about that one.
Ooh, you don't want to know either.
But it was proven his family had a
I'm
child
very,
because they
I'm
wanted to
classy.
see.
I'm not a ratchet type woman.
And say you're ratchet.
I know how to speak. I know how to drink from a glass. I mean, I
Ma'am,
know
they
how to
would look,
set it.
ma'am, ma'am, they would look at your chest tattoo and rule you out. Hey,
He keep talking about that
Miss
chest
Cleveland.
too.
Hey, how you doing?
Something else
Oh,
that she
Roger,
could
yeah,
get
he's a VP of
removed.
marketing, And where'd you graduate from college? What? Ohio? State, Michigan?
Oh,
Big
closer
Ten?
to the end than I thought.
You
With their wives. When you're in with the soccer moms and the 4-H club in the junior league and all these other women, oh, women size you up. They're looking at everything about you, and you know how women can be. And if you don't, let me tell you, these women, they look at everything.
But
All right,
I'm busy.
Hmm.
I didn't say that was her. That
Oh,
was
that was
the
her.
lady on
never
the
mind,
video.
never mind. It's
Keep that
enough, enough,
humble.
it's enough, it's enough.
Can I? You said you wanted me
Now,
to.
at the end of the day, no, you don't get a high value men want something for their value. You may be a perfectly lovely woman, but they're limited in supply. And if you had as many options as he does, would you settle for a man like you? Would you settle for a woman like you? Would you do that? If you had as many options as men as he has in women, would you settle for you?
Yes, I would.
Of course you would. Outside of your mind. That's why I have no problem. That's why I have no problem staying on code. Because shame, insults, guilt, and need to be right. They're gonna keep going and 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 keep going. Keep going. Average at best, meet average at worst.
Okay, that was the end of it when he said that earlier.
I supposed to settle.
He had started over. Mm.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm-mm.
He did because
Oh,
he
you
was
gotta be average
heard
at
to the
work.
point of no return. He probably still sitting down somewhere looking pitiful.
Oh Lord.
I hope not. I hope he was one of the ones. I hope she was one of the ones he woke up.
Gemini said he was single and divorced.
Why?
Lachey said he was the one who Beyonce didn't sign a prenup, so he left her at the altar. Oh, that guy.
That's not Derek Jackson.
Is not.
Mm-mm.
Who's she talking about there? Who?
Kevin probably.
Oh.
Who did that, Lante? Because Derek was definitely married. They left that altar together.
He read that lady
Mm-hmm.
record.
Crazy.
Ain't no way I would have been on that man's show.
No way. Like I said, his delivery was just his message got lost in translation. So
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't received by a lot of people. We're not the only ones who's saying that. A lot of people have said that, and a lot of prominent people who are very established and what you would call a high value woman and man
She said
have
he
said
did.
that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know
So
that.
it's one of those things where you have to go when you go into a place like that, talk to someone like that. You have to be very confident in yourself, and you have to have high self-esteem to handle a man like that. Because you ever notice those men like that, you the challenge for them. So they really they're gonna run behind you in the room trying to impress you by being as arrogant as they can be, because they want they want to bring you down a notch or two.
Yeah, and I also think, see, I didn't watch him, right? And that's very much so because um I know myself. You know what I'm saying? I know my worth. I know who I am, right? So I feel like a lot of people that did actually watch him, and this is just my opinion, y'all. Um, they were already low self esteem. So they got up there and asked him the questions, trying to figure out where they were going wrong, but it still didn't get no better,
Mm-mm.
because
It got worse. It got worse.
yes, I'm talking about that Jackson, Jaxn.
Yeah,
Yeah, it got worse. So he was really, most of his viewers, I believe, were low self esteem.
and men like game changers.
Absolutely. Well, with mommy issues.
Yes, and
Yes.
um, and I'm not saying this, but a lot of women that could respond to that. That's because you got a dictator at home.
Hmm. Well,
You
you
don't know
saw
no
it.
other way.
You seen it. You seen that.
Hmm.
Um, you seen it in your household growing up.
Yeah.
Something caused it.
Yes. It's most of the time that's what men like that don't like real confident women. But actually, a real confident woman that can handle her own is a plus, and it actually, if both of you are, that's where they get the saying power couple from. Because look at Michelle Obama. She didn't have to dummy herself down to be with Obama
Mm-mm.
because he was the president.
Mm-mm. She is who she is.
And this man, I mean, you could look at him and tell he exuded confidence, and she did too. And she was well respected by her husband. You know, he used to look at her like, yeah, I got the best thing popping. You know,
Yeah,
but
but see, what he did to her, Special K, is like I didn't even like the fact that he was like, "Oh, the soccer moms and blah blah blah." But see, the soccer moms gonna be looking at me because they gonna be like, "Oh, her spark, her," you know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
baby, I'm not. Yes, okay, girl, boy.
That's me this day and time now when I go with him anywhere. You know, I'm a very, very friendly person, but I know how to carry myself with the person and with my husband because in the position that he's in. So he's the one that everybody basically look at. You understand what I'm saying? And he's the one that they all try to butter up to because the boss. So you know, but he's not demeaning with it like, oh, that's just a deckhand or that's just a so and so, and belittle their wives in any kind of way or whatever. And they expect you to come in with a certain type of attitude, and you just have to know how to hold your own and be able to be match his energy, and you read the room and you handle it accordingly. You don't have to go in there and beat down ghetto. You don't have to go in there all snooty either. You can be very pleasant to be around. And to me, I don't think he was a pleasant person to be around.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in how you carry yourself. It's all in how you carry yourself, and it's all in how you know, treat people. And if
Yeah,
you're
because I
deliberate,
feel like marrying him or being with him is gonna be very boring.
you got to walk 2 feet behind him
Mm-hmm.
like he's a
Not
kid.
only that, but you gotta go around people and pretend you can't even be yourself.
Hmm. And you live by people like that. Their whole life is a lie. They put on airs, and they go out and they try to impress everybody.
Mm-hmm.
All of that he said to her is not it's not how he lived. So he's trying to impress other people by
Mm-hmm.
saying this, that, and the third. You're not teaching. That's not teaching. That's just sitting there and you just getting a kick out of it, and you getting a rise out of belittling someone because you think they're less than.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's a fact.
So if you talk to people I don't care if they're a ditch digger, they could be the best ditch digger they can be. He could be the best husband or wife or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's all in what that person prefer. Don't make people think just because you don't have a certain occupation, you are less than.
I
And that's
always
what he
feel
did.
like you can get your point across without being nasty.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's why I say you have to season your words with salt. It doesn't make you a high powered person just because you sit there and you belittle someone. It really doesn't.
Mhm.
And it doesn't make anybody
And
around you.
if y'all pay attention, we can agree with some of his points because I do feel like people should date in their caliber, but I don't feel
Yeah.
like you should limit yourself and only date in your caliber either.
Yeah.
Um, you shouldn't do that. But yeah, I do feel like it's more equal that way. It's better. You know what I'm saying? It's not a
Mhm.
lot of strain on somebody's doing more, but at the same time, don't make it feel like you just can't get better. Nothing better.
Mhm.
No, you're not gonna do that.
Hey, Brandy. Yes, I wholeheartedly agree with you with that because if you, if a woman make over, I'll just say $100,000 a year, and man make less than, then yeah, you're gonna have some disconnect come in there because he's gonna feel that less than. Some men feel, I'm not gonna say all, some may feel less than, like, and then they got these friends who make them feel less than, man, your wife makes so and so, so and so. You have those type of, people, but I think that's when you just really don't discuss what he does, you don't surround, you don't make that the topic of the relationship.
Yeah, see, and I'm not even that type of person, and I know men probably be like, oh, men do think like that, right?
Hmm.
But at the same time, I also feel like, um, when we don't make as much as them, right? We pick up and we do other things, right? We're cooking, we're doing the laundry. Some people are taking care of the children, so it's not, you know what I'm saying? It's not so hard. It's not so much of a problem or issue. And that could be the same thing because it's not always going to be um unless you're two people that is just marrying based off of finances.
That's
You know what I'm
my
saying?
point.
Because there's other
That's my
you
point.
you know what I'm saying? Unless you're just dating or marrying based off of finances, but other than that, it can be that way. But you got to make sure you're doing everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes. And then there are some who base it off. There are people who basically that's not a thing, but the wife could make as much more, if not more, than the husband. But sometimes the husbands will tell the wife, "You can sit down. I got
Mm-hmm.
you." You know. But he was talking like being a soccer mom is a bad thing, though.
Hmm.
So I can't understand which way he wanted. You want the wife
But
with the
no, he kind of said, he actually to me said it was like it was a good thing. You get around these soccer moms and you know what I'm saying, blah, blah. First of all, what he failed to realize is a lot of them soccer moms are not doing nothing.
and that's what I'm saying. They sitting there with degrees. Some of them,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that
Just
some
sitting on them.
just sitting on them and don't have to work because their
Mm-mm.
husband told them you can sit down. I mean, I've seen attorneys, I've
Mm-hmm.
seen nurses. Hello,
Mm-hmm.
I've
It's
seen,
a lot.
it's a lot of them.
That is that happens a lot. You know what I'm saying? While he's sitting there saying you out with the soccer moms and he's making her feel like she don't fit in, but really in
Yeah,
reality, she's topping them.
yes, because a lot of them do have careers that they gave up. They chose to be at home. That when they got pregnant. Or
Mm-hmm.
if they was when they met, Mr. Prince Charming, he told him, he can make her life better because you take care of the kids because I got this. You just you can't say that. You can't say she's out of the soccer field and she's gonna feel less than. No.
Yeah.
Yep.
This guy that I know named Red, he started dating his wife Tamara when she was working part time at Sam's, and he was cutting hair, so he was making 75, 80,000 dollars a year way back in like 1996.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just a part-time worker. They dated like 6 months and got married. They still married to this day. That same Sam's that she worked at, she made it all the way to manager. Now she's a district manager. She has her own Sam's Club. They moved her to what's that part? Hilton Head, South Carolina, to run her own Sam's Club. She told him, "Baby, you took care of us so well. You don't have to work no more." She
Tabitha Brown did the same thing.
Yes,
Yeah,
she
she told
did.
him you don't have to work no
Retired
more.
them.
She
Mhm.
retired him. He loves to sing, so now he just go around booking gigs. Hey, Super Aunt Troy, Mr. Troy.
Hey,
He goes
Troy.
around booking gigs, and she just let him. She's, you ain't got, if you don't want to cut hair, you ain't got to. I got us.
Mhm. And
So you
One
that's
of the
gotta look
ladies.
at a person where they are, because you don't know what God's destiny, what God has for them.
and not only that, and that is a very good point, but not only that, I would rather be in a position. I would rather a man that want me to elevate and want to help me get there. Baby, don't worry
Mhm.
about it. If you want to go back to school, you can go back to school. You want someone who's gonna lift you up in whatever you do, whether it's
Mhm.
sit at home or whatever, but you want someone who appreciates your ambition. You want someone who appreciates your drive and is gonna come. full throttle and say, I support you. And even though it was the woman that my 2 cent is speaking on, she did that. And I feel like Tabitha did the same thing. She said, my husband came out here and he carried this family all the way for me to get, achieve
You went
my
out.
dream. She said that he carried her family and her to achieve, he paid for everything so she can achieve her dream to be where she is now financially. They're very secure. And she told him, we at that point when she hit that the millions, first thing she said was she was gonna retire him, and that's what she did.
Yep,
So
she
and
did.
and they're not an old couple, but she said he has done so much. What can I give him for his material things? This
Mm.
man carried us when we didn't have nothing. He still went out there and risked his life because he was a policeman.
And that's how Tamara feels. They're younger than me. She may have just turned 50 and Red is like 51 or 52. The house that they had here, they gave it to their daughter and they bought a house over in South Carolina.
And Hilton Head is very nice.
It is very nice, very expensive, but
It's
it's
very
nice.
expensive.
Yeah.
But that's why I said he didn't cover all the grounds. It could be vice versa. I probably could have received it a little bit better with the delivery, and if he had a covered both sides and say man or woman instead of just making the man just you want the man to be the end all be all, but you don't want him to the woman to do nothing but really just bow down and barefoot and pregnant until you feel like talking to her. She got to sit over there in that corner. That's how his delivery come out, and that's how his message come out.
Yeah. I think that his show would have been more received had he had like opposite. Like I wanted somebody up here on the panel that agreed with him and could tell why they agreed with him. I think his show would have been better if he would have had dialect. Like he given his point, and then you have another man that would give a different perspective.
I think that would have been great. Like I said, I didn't know the man personally. I didn't really. I watched him in to the point where I was like, ooh. But I've had plenty of conversations about him with people, because we would talk about it. But um, he was just, like I said, I agree with a lot of things that he was saying, especially about the submission. But the only thing about that is he was saying it, but he wasn't giving submission what it really is. It's you be submissive to the man, the man, the man. No, that go both ways. You be very respectful and submissive to the woman. You're gonna get it as the man. You're gonna get it from a woman. She's gonna, she ain't gonna have no problem being submissive to you if you are respectful and you are very, I mean, what's wrong with talking to your wife with respect instead of talking down to her?
On my last live, the young lady that he was talking to, he asked her a question because she was like, she didn't, she, it was about being submissive. And she was like, he was saying what he thought submissive was the man in the front, the woman behind, and the children.
Hmm.
He said, no, I'm side by side. I'm not going to be behind him, be side by side. He used an example. If danger come and it's time for your husband to defend you, if somebody comes with guns, it's time for your husband to defend you. Are you going to fall behind him then? She said, no, I'm going to be on the side of him. And he said, you're a fool. He told her, you're a fool. He was like, because who's going to be back there protecting the kids? She could not see his point.
I see his point. Now, do I agree with it? Because see, and 9 times out of 10, I got mine in my purse.
Yeah, but if both of y'all up there defending the family and both of y'all get killed, y'all got orphan for children.
Well,
Orphans for
we
children.
don't have. But I understand what he's saying. And like I said, I agree with him about submissive. A husband is supposed to be a protector.
Yeah.
And that's Bible. I mean, if you want to go by the Bible standards, that's the truth. He's supposed to be a protector, but he separates from the Bible when he's talking about other things. Then it's like it's a disconnect.
Yeah.
He only want to focus on one thing that's in the Bible that says about submissive, and that's it. And the rest of it, he don't want to talk about. When the Bible say husbands do not irritate your wife and all that kind of stuff. He don't want to go in Ephesians because that's you know too much like right.
Yeah.
But I
Okay, Jay.
he had another live that, like I said, I agreed with him on it, but I always said his delivery was very harsh when it comes to women.
Yeah.
And the men, I'm trying to see who was up there letting him talk to them like that. Because a self-assured man, brother, bring it down. I just want to know what was the men conversation like? Did you see it?
I did, and he was kind of rough with them too because they had certain standards that they wanted, and he was rough with them too,
I'm saying,
asking him
what
what
type
to
of
do.
men were they?
Hmm.
Were they like, based off her caliber?
The one that I saw, the man made $65,000 a year. He wanted to know where the man lived. The man said he lived in, I think it was Houston, Texas, or some part of Texas. He said, "So you living in Houston, Texas, and you making $65,000 a year?" He said, "So you are living check to check?" The man was like, "Yes, I live
Basically,
check to check." He said, "What woman do you know that's gonna want a man that's living check to check if she living check to check?" So he was letting them have, it. And the man was like, "Well, we can come together and put our monies together, and we can accumulate some things together."
that's true.
But he just
But
couldn't see that. He was like,
so he
"What?"
wants you to come in. The man already come in, basically dominant by
Debt, yeah,
checkbook
debt free and all that.
with the checkbook.
Yeah. Hey, Amber.
Mhm.
Yep.
Well, I just it's a choice thing. It's
Yep.
it's a choice thing, and it's by a certain age, I feel like it you know it,
I'm sure if you listen to his videos and listen to him talk, everybody know somebody like who he's describing.
it's
Everybody
so
knows.
true,
Yeah.
so true.
Everybody knows like somebody like who he's describing. I got a
It,
couple of friends like that, and I can't stand them because they arrogant. They are very arrogant. The ones that make money like that, they're very arrogant, and they look down on women that's not making 100,000 or better.
well, you know what? I know some like that. I know a lot of them like that, and then I know a lot of them who aren't like that.
Me neither.
It just depends on, I guess, the person,
Yeah.
or whatever. Because I've seen some arrogant ones in my time. Now, I'm gonna say this, and y'all don't get me wrong. I like a little arrogance in a man. Okay, I don't like a passive man. I like a little, but not
Yeah.
to the point of disrespectful.
Yeah.
Because I tell hey Nina, hey Troy, hey Amber, um, I like my husband with a little arrogance in him. A little self confidence. And
Yeah.
as I said, that's some people don't, but I do, but not to the point where it's arrogantly rude
Mm-hmm.
and offensive.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to see a confident person because you can really take something away from when you talk to them. Sometimes you can take whether it's good or bad. Like I said, you can learn from a dummy. So it's something about them that gave them that confidence. I like to know. So I
Mm-hmm.
have conversation with them, and maybe that's something I can help work on with somebody that I know who has low self esteem.
Yep. Well, I'm about to get off of here. We've been live almost 2 hours.
Well, that's a good thing. You're getting your hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, and you're gonna have to do another one with him because we
I'm
got some people that
gonna
like him.
find one that has. I want. What's her
Keep that
name? That
other
said
one.
she like him. I would like for her to come up here and on
Gemini
the next
show better get up here because
Gemini.
I ain't getting up here next time.
I want to get her up here, Gemini, but I want
Don't
to find
forget
one
BT.
on a man. Yep, and yep, her light skin, well, bright skin woman, white woman. To see is it gonna be a difference in his delivery, and then the men. I want you to see how he talked to men too.
But I seen one with the Caucasian women, and yes, it is different.
Yeah, I wanna. I've never seen him talk to a Caucasian woman. A
Hmm.
Caucasian woman. I'm sorry.
Um, I might have to inbox old game changer and ask him do he have that one because I'm sure he does.
Okay.
I'm sure he does, and because he was showing his live one day,
Oh, okay.
and he said it on Alexis panel that he really modeled himself after King.
Thank you, that one. Thank you, Robin. Um, yeah, I'm gonna schedule another one. You get my notification, Special K.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was actually had my phone on the charger, and that's why I said I ran in and got my phone.
Okay. I got my
Um,
stuff together now. Everything's working, so I can schedule a live and go live when I schedule it, and ain't gotta wait till I go live to be um testing my stuff because it's
okay,
working now.
I see, girl, you didn't start getting fancy up here.
Yeah.
Now I got a question because I don't know how to work nothing either. So I was like, "Oh, how do you comment?" I see, like Christian Tabby was just commenting in their comments, and I said,
Mhm.
"I'm back here looking at the comments." I said, "But it says join chat, and every time that throw me down." So do that? Is that what you get?
I'm using my other device.
Oh, okay, that's
That's
why I
how
was.
I used to do too.
Well,
Thank
I
you that one for the super chat.
thank you that one for
Yeah.
supporting.
Thank you for the support. Yeah, but I'm gonna set the next one. It'll probably be Wednesday because can't get my tools out of Miss Karaoke 3 nights this week.
Oh,
So I'm going tomorrow. I
do
stay
you
home.
participate?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Thank you, Latte. Oh, crawfish.
Crawfish. Well, I
Mm-hmm.
can
Eating crawfish.
put
I
tonight.
She said, great live. I'm eating crawfish. Are you from Louisiana?
I love crawfish.
I tried it for the first time last year and it was different.
Well, when you from the coast, you love seafood, period.
Yeah.
Because we eat everything almost out the Gulf.
Yep. I
But
saw Christian was live when I
hmm,
was at work. They made me work overtime, and by the time I got off work, she was gone.
cool.
Christian?
Krisha had a good live too today.
Yep.
She was chatting. We was chatting on her live. She had a good one.
All right. Good night.
When
Good
y'all do
night, guys.
these evening lives, they are nice. Tabby,
Yeah.
you abandoned us, but have a great night, love. Thank you for having me, my 2 cents, and
Good night.
Good
Good
night,
night,
everybody.
chat.
Thank you all again.